Nairobi has been hit by a deluge this morning, with various residential areas and roads being flooded and residents once again put in jeopardy. As we're speaking right now, the NEMA Director General is currently addressing a press conference where he's talking about the situation and the environmental impact of the flooding. Let's listen in.
And even some parts of South Sea where flooding is. Other crews are on sites. We have a collapsed building which was halfway done in Juja. So the main objective of coming here is to warn citizens, because all this morning you've been seeing on social media people attempting to cross flooded sections, even where water is flowing very fast, and having to be evacuated or rescued from this. And we are warning Kenyans, because the ministry, through the Department of Meteorological Services, has warned, and we are aware of areas in Kenya where flooding is likely to occur in this prolonged rainy season. There are also, other than flooding, there are areas in the country, for example, areas like Murang'a, Nyeri, Kisii, and other areas where it's also prone to landslides. And this is just as much dangerous as this flooding. So we are cautioning Kenyans that please take precaution. Let us not have episodes where we have people who are staying in vulnerable areas, and then warnings have been issued out, but then later on we are losing lives and property because people have not taken a proper precaution to evacuate from areas which are flood prone, as well as which are also prone to landslides. Also, this is a period where we also are likely to face episodes also of waterborne diseases, because these floods, if you look at this section, one of our concerns is that there is a lot of waste which has come along the river, and naturally floods also clean up the environment, and therefore a lot of this waste is going eventually, unfortunately, to find its way into water areas like the ocean or some other sections of the river. Some of it will be deposited. We are also working this morning at a meeting with all the county environment officers in Naivasha, and we have discussed and agreed that counties are going to work with us this week to try and take this opportunity where the debris has been washed by the river ashore to clean up. We have lots of plastic bottles, unfortunately, less of plastic paper waste, polythene, and we can see basically the result of the ban on plastics that we did, that there is less waste compared to the other years that is being washed ashore. Nonetheless, it's still a lot and significant, but what we are seeing now are the plastic bottles. So county governments, just the discussions we had, we are calling upon you to actually mop up all the bottles, all the waste and the debris that is washed ashore by the fast flowing streams in Nairobi and in any other major towns.
So, given that there's still a lot of plastic, and that that the authority and the ministry had thought of banning plastics, where is that now going forward? And what advice would you give, given that in many places we've seen that the drainage systems are blocked by plastic and by plastic paper bags?
Yeah. Let me say that you will agree with me that by and large there is significant less plastic bags. But now what is very noticeable are the bottles. I know it is true that the ministry has said that we are in discussions about take-back schemes for plastic. We announced to you earlier that we had projected for April 1, because the stakeholders had said they'll come together. But it's a big problem, as you can see. What I'm saying is that this is not the only year we are going to have floods. This is an occurring episode, and we do not want to take reactive steps, for example, because of what we have witnessed, to take an environmental action or remediation which is going to hurt the economy. We are going to continue with the discussions on the take-back schemes as we are observing and monitoring what is happening. However, I want to say that as other citizens are observing, there are many options that are open for us. And what we have considered, we think it will work. So we don't want to deviate from the strategy of mopping up through take-back schemes, recycling, the polluter pays principle, where if you are producing, then you also have to give some money to clean up on the environment. And we hope this can work. We are still optimistic that the rollout is going to be at the beginning of April, and we'll call you to witness, so that if we deviate from that strategy, it will be very clear why we have done that, perhaps because this current strategy has failed. So we are still keeping our minds open, but what we are working for is that we are confident that they will come through and actually clean up after themselves and take back all these plastic bottles that we are seeing.
What is the rate of compliance to the ban of plastic so far?
We have, for example, this week, we have been monitoring, but we have done about 3 arrests countrywide on major producers, as well as even the people who are retailing in mamambogas. The problem that we are having now are hawkers, particularly these hawkers who sell sugarcane. These guys, they will be sitting in one place and running away. The strategy we are using last week, you remember we had said that we are now sure that there is no more plastic.
That's the NEMA Director General speaking to some journalists there, including our very own Andrew Chieng, giving him an update on the flooding situation in the country. He says that they are also on the lookout for what they call flooding in different places. Some of the counties that the weatherman had already warned include Kisii, Kericho, Bomet, Narok, Migori, Kakamega, Kajiado, Nakuru, Kwale, Marsabit, Wajir, Isiolo, and even Turkana. And he also says one of the main issues that will come with the flooding is waterborne diseases, but is also urging the members of the public to ensure that dumping of plastics is not done in places where it could end up clogging the drainage systems, which is one of the leading causes of the flooding currently.